What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Viking Studios. Today we're talking about Red Dot. So stay tuned, you're going to want to hear about this one. Alright guys, so we're just going to jump into it. Really kind of no fluff type of review on this here. Been using this Red Dot made by Votatu for quite a while. The model number of this thing is the VRO501. I'm assuming they kind of added a number like that because in the future they're going to make more of these things and probably different variants and stuff. But it's a pretty standard T2 footprint Red Dot. This thing works really good. It's got a bunch of brightness settings, power button on the side, which are actual like little buttons. And they have the caps that also act as the tool for adjusting your windage and elevation settings. So that's pretty cool. I found it actually pairs really well with the GBRS Hydra mount, so I kind of threw it on that, and I've been running it on actually a few different guns. And the too long didn't read version is Votatu's got some pretty good products, it's got some okay products, and it's got some crap products. This is one of the best ones that they've sent me, one of the best products that they make. It's definitely in the top 2 of all the things I've gotten from them. So it's something that does work pretty well for what it is. So let's go over some pros of what I like about this thing. One is I like that it's just regular, like low profile thin buttons on the side here to turn the Red Dot on and off, because that is important to me in a sense of avoiding, like an interruption of your peripheral shot. So when I pull the sight up, it doesn't impede anything in my vision, especially because I have this like ridiculous flashlight here that already does a really good job of that. The Red Dot itself is actually pretty streamlined and doesn't really have any kind of like distracting effects when you're aiming down your sights. It did come with flip caps. I took those off. Those are always a pain in the ass, especially if you're playing airsoft and you're filming. When you have that cap that's flipped up and you have your, your helmet mount or whatever for a camera, it's kind of like really in your face on the camera view. So I definitely took that off. But it does come with the honeycomb filter here in the front. And what that honeycomb filter really does is eliminate some glare from the sides, give away your position and that kind of thing. But more importantly is the holes are very small, so if a BB does come toward you from an enemy position and were to hit the actual optic, it does protect the lens pretty good. So that is pretty nice. It runs off the standard CR123 small little like watch battery styles, which is kind of nice that they do give you an extra one in the case. Speaking of the case, comes with a pretty standard made in China optic mount case. To be honest with you, all these different companies are very similar in most things, and they all use these standard plastic hard cases, so nothing too really crazy there. It does come with an extra battery. It did come with all the tools you need to mount this thing. It does come with like a, a low footprint riser and a high point riser. It's kind of, I think it's like lower 1/3 co-witness. But I opted for the Hydra mount. T2 footprint actually fit really well. Didn't have any problems. The threading and everything was right where it needed to be, all the holes and everything. So that worked out really nice. I was very happy with it. Brightness. What else is really important is like if you're playing during the day and you want to be able to see your optic, is it bright enough? Is it bright enough during a sunny day? I can say yes, it is. It is also got enough settings that you can dial it down for if you're playing indoors. Like something like this is definitely an indoor gun for me. And I use a tracer and stuff. So when you do that and you use a flashlight, whatnot, you want that optic to be kind of a lower power. So that way it doesn't kind of like glow off into your vision where the Red Dot itself is actually obstructing your view from seeing what you're aiming at. You want to be able to dial it up and dial it down, but you can do it either one. It holds zero really well. So as you can see here, this is my indoor gun, G&G SMC9. It is a gas blowback gun. This thing is on full auto, kicks pretty hard. It's not quite a SCAR level gas blowback, but it's pretty close. This thing kicks harder than a lot of the MP7s I've run that gas blowback, definitely more than an MP9. So it held zero perfectly, didn't have any kind of problems whatsoever. I actually used it in conjunction with some of the Votatu lasers they sent me, which I'll be doing a separate video on. You're going to want to subscribe and follow us for that because we've got a bunch of the products we're reviewing. Co-witnessing the laser and the sight was very easy. I've got all the different color sights from green to red to blue. And basically the laser and the sight, once I lined them all up and got them co-witnessed, using even a gas blowback gun, I've used it on an HPA gun and an AEG. I'd never had a single problem with it, like really losing sight or anything at all. And that's after weeks and weeks and weeks of using it. Thousands of rounds through, never really had a problem. So that worked out really well. It's you know, it's kind of streamlined looking. It looks kind of cool. It's not anything too wild. It's a standard red dot, but it does tick all the boxes that work really well. You know, at the end of the day, is this something that I would use for real steel? No, it's not quite to that type of durability. You know, it's not made for that. It's definitely made for airsoft, but it works really well for airsoft. And of all the different products I've gotten from them, this is one of my favorite things that I've actually run through. It's much better built and functionality than their 3x scope, or even like with their, I've used it in junction with their magnifier. Their magnifiers are good, but the red dot is definitely a cut above all the rest of the other type of optics that they have. So if you're looking for a good red dot, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not quite as bright as like my Raid Mount, which is a real steel red dot, but it's pretty damn close and it works really well. So that is something that works really well. I definitely love it with the Hydra mount. I think it looks really good. And yeah, there's really not much else to say about it. It's definitely your standard made in China type of red dot, but this particular product is something that I am pretty happy with. It is pretty good. I really like the honeycomb, you know, diffusion in the front, more for the protection than the glare, you know, like eliminating glare. That's not something that's as important to me. But all in all, I thought the red dot works really good. It ticks off all the boxes for airsoft for sure. It holds 0. It's bright enough for the daylight. It's dim enough for indoors. Really can't complain about it. So that is something I'm very happy with. Thank you, Votatu. You can check them out. They're usually on Amazon. I can leave a link down in the description. And we're going to be doing some more products with them as well. We've got a magnifier, we've got some different lasers and stuff like that, and also a light. So you're going to want to stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys back here on the next one.